All right, you filthy animals, welcome back to Fun Theory.
Huh. You know, the drill shit gets weird, shit gets wild, and tonight, shit's about to get monstrous.
Oh, yeah.
And let's be real, you wouldn't be here if you didn't like it a little dirty. So grab your drink of choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kong versus Godzilla, baby.
A showdown for the ages.
Hell yeah.
And with Godzilla x Kong, the new empire, about to drop, it feels like this whole debate about who's the real king is blown up all over again.
Damn right. I mean, these two have been throwing down for decades.
For a long time, yeah.
But why are we still so obsessed? It's gotta be more than just two giant fuckers smashing buildings, right?
Absolutely. There's a reason these titans resonate across generations.
Yeah.
Godzilla, born from nuclear fear, is more than a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He's a walking consequence. It's like the universe saying, yeah, you mess with shit you shouldn't have, and this is what you get.
Heavy stuff. And on the other side, you've got Kong, the OG ape king. He's all about raw power, sure, but there's also this tragic protector vibe. Like he's trying to defend nature from us assholes who keep screwing it up. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
That's a key distinction. Kong is often portrayed as a guardian defending Skull Island, sometimes even humanity from outside threats.
Right.
Godzilla, on the other hand, is more of a force of nature himself, often the catalyst for the chaos he eventually helps resolve.
Okay, so before we get too deep into their psychological profiles,
Right.
let's get down to brass tacks, tail of the tape time. Godzilla's got that atomic breath that can melt steel.
Oh, yeah.
He shrugs off nukes like they're mosquitoes.
Mm,
And the dude's literally fueled by radiation.
yeah.
What's Kong packing to counter that?
Well, while Godzilla may have the brute force advantage, Kong's no slouch. He's incredibly agile, surprisingly clever, and he uses tools.
Right.
He's adapted to his environment and learned to utilize it to his advantage.
True. But can a well-placed coconut really compete with a frickin' nuclear blast? I mean, let's not forget that 1962 throwdown. Sure, Kong got a power boost from lightning.
Yeah.
But it felt kind of cheap.
Ugh, the infamous lightning strike. It's a point of contention amongst fans. Does it count as a legitimate win? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
But it does highlight the fact that Kong can adapt and use his environment to his advantage.
Okay.
Which brings us to a bigger question. What does it even mean to be king in this context?
Right. Is it just about who wins the most fights?
Hmm.
Because if that's the metric, Godzilla's got it in the bag.
Yeah.
But Kong's usually out there trying to protect something, not just smashing shit because he's got a headache.
Yeah.
Does that make him more of a king in some ways?
It's an interesting question. Is a true king defined solely by power or by the responsibility they demonstrate in wielding it? Godzilla often saves the day,
Yeah.
but usually after wreaking havoc first. Is that truly responsible leadership?
It's like the president nuking a country and then being like, oops, my bad. I'll rebuild.
Right.
Not exactly a winning strategy.
Mm.
But then again, maybe there's something to be said for Godzilla's whole destroy to rebuild philosophy.
Sure.
It's chaotic, sure. But maybe that's just how nature rolls sometimes.
Perhaps. But that brings us to the latest chapter in this epic saga, the New Empire. Well, we won't spoil anything.
Come on, man. Don't be a buzzkill.
Let's just say the film adds some layers to this who's the rightful king debate.
Okay.
There are some curveballs thrown in, some new players who challenge the status quo.
Right.
And it might just change how we view both Kong and Godzilla's claims to the throne. The MonsterVerse, as we know it, is getting a shakeup.
Okay, so you're saying it's not just a two-monkey pissing contest anymore. We got a whole Royal Rumble brewing.
Yeah.
Spill the tea, dude. What kind of fresh hell are we talking about here?
Well, without giving too much away, imagine creatures that tap into power sources we haven't seen before.
Oh, shit.
Ancient energies, maybe even something. Cosmic. It's like the MonsterVerse is going full-on Lovecraftian.
Holy shit. So is this an Avengers situation?
Hmm.
Are Kong and Godzilla going to have to put aside their beef and team up to take down a bigger baddie? Or are we talking every monster for themselves?
The New Empire throws some serious wrenches into the works. It forces Kong and Godzilla to reconsider their roles and maybe, just maybe, find some common ground. Whether they choose to cooperate or tear each other apart is a big part of what makes this film so damn compelling.
You know, that's what I dig about this whole Kong versus Godzilla thing.
Yeah.
It's not just mindless monster porn.
No.
There's real depth to it, man. It's like there are these giant metaphors for all the shit we wrestle with as humans.
Precisely. It's nature versus technology power versus responsibility instinct versus intellect.
Yeah.
Godzilla and Kong embody these primal forces, acting them out on a scale that's both terrifying and awe-inspiring.
And let's be real, it is fucking awesome to watch these behemoths throw down. The city smashing, the bone-crunching roars, the sheer spectacle of it all.
It is, yeah.
It's pure cinematic adrenaline.
The visual effects in the new Empire are next level.
Oh, I bet.
The way these creatures move, the detail in their expressions, it's like they're actually alive on screen. You can practically feel the ground shake when Godzilla takes a step.
And those sound effects, man. Kong's roar could shatter your eardrums. And Godzilla's atomic breath. Jesus, it's like hearing the apocalypse itself makes you feel small. You know? Like a tiny little ant staring up at a goddamn titan.
Speaking of feeling small, what do you think it is about these monster movies that keeps us coming back for more?
For me, it's that mix of escapism and primal fear. We get to watch these giant creatures wreck shit.
Yeah.
Which is cathartic as hell, but there's also this deeper, almost subconscious dread.
Yeah.
It's like we're looking into the abyss, staring down the forces that could wipe us out in an instant.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. They tap into our fascination with the unknown, with the forces that shape our world. They remind us that we're not always in control, that there are things out there far greater than ourselves.
And sometimes those things are giant radioactive lizards with a bad attitude. But hey, that's what makes life interesting, right? So with all these new contenders entering the MonsterVerse, who do you think comes out on top in the new empire? Does anyone truly wear the crown?
That's the beauty of it. There's no easy answer. It's not just about who wins a fight. It's about how these creatures impact each other, humanity, and the world they inhabit.
Right, that's deep, man.
But you gotta admit, we all secretly want to know who'd win in a straight-up brawl, right?
Of course. And that's precisely what we'll be dissecting in our next segment. We're diving into the nitty-gritty of Kong and Godzilla's abilities,
Right.
analyzing their strengths, weaknesses, and fighting styles.
Hell yeah. It's about to get nerdy up in here.
Indeed. We'll break down their iconic battles, examine the science behind their powers, and maybe, just maybe, we'll come to a definitive conclusion on who truly deserves the title of King of the Monsters. But for now, let's leave our listeners with a thought. If you were a monster, what kind of crazy powers would you have? Hit us up on social media. We want to hear your wildest ideas.
All right, you beautiful bastards. Welcome back to the Thunderdome. It's time for the main event. Kong versus Godzilla, round freaking infinity.
Let's do it.
Let's break this shit down.
All right.
Let's start with Godzilla, the walking nuclear reactor. His atomic breath is legendary. A concentrated blast of pure radiation that can turn a city block into molten slag.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not even mentioning his size and durability. The dude's basically a walking tank, shrugging off nukes like they're goddamn firecrackers.
Right. Trying to kill Godzilla with conventional weapons is like trying to swat a fly with a wet noodle.
Exactly.
It's just not going to happen.
Nope. And let's not forget his healing factor. Godzilla's regenerative abilities are off the charts.
It's insane.
Even if you manage to land a hit, he just shrugs it off and comes back for more.
Yeah.
He's a force of nature in the truest sense of the word.
Okay, so Godzilla's a goddamn beast. We get it.
Yeah.
But Kong ain't no pushover. He's got speed agility and a brain that actually works. Dude's a master strategist, always figuring out how to use his environment to his advantage.
Kong's intelligence is often underestimated. He's a natural problem solver, able to use tools and adapt his fighting style on the fly. His agility allows him to dodge attacks and strike with surprising speed and precision.
And don't forget those fists, man. One punch from Kong can send a monster flying. Plus, he's got that primal rage, that berserker fury that makes him a goddamn terrifying opponent. When Kong gets pissed, you better get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, for sure. Kong's emotional range is another fascinating aspect. He's capable of great empathy and compassion.
Right.
But when pushed to his limits, that rage can be absolutely devastating.
All right, so we've got Godzilla, the unstoppable nuclear juggernaut, and Kong, the clever and ferocious brawler.
Yep.
It's the ultimate clash of styles.
Yeah.
Who wins in a head-to-head matchup?
It's the question that's been debated for decades.
Right.
It's a true clash of titans brute force versus calculated strategy.
All right, let's break it down, fight-by-fight style. Godzilla has the advantage in raw power and durability. That atomic breath is a game changer, and his ability to withstand punishment is insane. But Kong is faster, more adaptable, and he can exploit Godzilla's weaknesses.
Exactly. Kong could use his agility to avoid Godzilla's attacks, focusing on striking vulnerable areas like the gills or eyes.
And maybe lure Godzilla into a trap like he did with that giant spider in Skull Island. Remember that shit.
Oh,
Trick that sucker right into a ravine. Kong's a sneaky bastard when he wants to be.
that's a good point. It shows that Kong might be capable of outsmarting Godzilla, using the environment and his opponent's own strengths against him.
So it's not an automatic win for Godzilla.
Not at all. It would be a close fight, a battle for the ages. The terrain, the presence of other creatures, even their mental states at the time, all these factors could influence the outcome.
Damn, it's some deep shit. It's like a game of chess with these titans. Each move calculated every advantage exploited.
Precisely. It's a battle of wits as much as it is a battle of brawn. And that's what makes this rivalry so compelling. There's no easy answer, no clear-cut winner. It all comes down to perspective and interpretation.
And arguing about it with your buddies over a couple of beers, am I right?
Absolutely.
So what's the final verdict? Who takes home the crown in your book?
As much as I'd love to give you a definitive answer, I think the beauty lies in the debate itself. Both Godzilla and Kong represent powerful forces, both destructive and creative.
Come on, man. You gotta have a favorite. Don't leave us hanging.
I appreciate both for their unique strengths and symbolism. Godzilla embodies the raw, untamed power of nature, while Kong represents the intelligence and resilience of life itself. They're two sides of the same coin, both worthy of the title king in their own right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess it's up to each of us to decide who reigns supreme in our own personal MonsterVerse.
Exactly.
And hey, that's what Fun Theory is all about, exploring these crazy ideas, getting a little wild, and having some fun along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to our listeners, we want to hear from you. Who's your king, Godzilla or Kong? Hit us up on social media, leave us a voicemail, tell us why your pick would kick the other's ass. We're ready for the debate to rage on.
And on that note, we're out of here. This has been Fun Theory, the podcast that dives headfirst into the weird, the wild, and the downright monstrous. Till next time, stay freaky, you magnificent bastards.